So, what on earth could one single demographic number have to do with the future of Social Security? Well, as it turns out, a whole lot. Today, we are going to break down an analysis that connects a massive, and I mean massive, figure to the financial stability of a system millions of us rely on. Let's dive right in. First things first, a question for you. When I say 68 million people, what pops into your head? Is it a whole country? Maybe a giant megacity? It's a number so big it's hard to even wrap your mind around, right? But that exact number is at the very heart of the analysis we're exploring today.
And there it is, 68 million. According to the sources analysis, which pulls from CDC and Guttmacher Institute data, that's the estimated number of abortions in the U.S. from 1973 all the way through October 2025. Now, just to be clear, no matter where you stand on the issue itself, the analysis we're looking at treats this number purely as a demographic data point, one with some pretty big economic implications. Okay, so how do we make a number that big feel real? How do we get a sense of its scale? Well, the analysis gives us a really powerful and, frankly, kind of surprising comparison to help put it all into perspective. So check this out. The analysis puts that huge 68 million figure right next to something we can actually picture, the entire population of Washington, D.C. That's about 684,000 people. When you stack them up side by side, wow, the ratio is just staggering. To put it another way, the source points out that this total is basically like taking the entire population of Washington, D.C. and multiplying it by almost 100. And it's that immense scale that really forms the foundation for the economic argument that's coming next. All right, let's connect the dots. We've got this massive demographic number. So how does that link up with the core argument of this analysis, the future of Social Security? To really get this, we've got to talk about something called the worker-to-beneficiary ratio. It sounds technical, but it's pretty simple. It's the backbone of Social Security. You've got the number of people who are working and paying taxes into the system compared to the number of people, retirees and others, who are drawing benefits out of the system. For the whole thing to work, you need enough workers supporting the beneficiaries. So here's the three-step logic the analysis lays out. The argument goes like this. A significant number of fewer potential births over 50 years, well, that contributes to a smaller potential workforce down the line. And a smaller workforce means fewer people paying into Social Security. You see where this is going? That, in turn, puts a huge strain on that vital worker-to-beneficiary ratio. And they actually put a number on that potential strain. The analysis projects that by applying historical labor force participation rates, this lost demographic cohort could have potentially added about 17 million workers to the system today. I mean, think about that. That's a huge number of contributors who just aren't there. But, and this is super, super important, the analysis is very clear that this is not the whole story. It's not the only factor at play. To really understand what's going on, we have to look at all the other major forces shaping our country's demographics and its economy. And the source material is really explicit about this. This quote is key. It says that yes, while abortions do contribute to lower birth rates, other big things, like how much it costs to raise kids and national immigration trends, actually play even larger roles in the long-term health of the workforce. And what are those other factors? Well, you've got the incredibly high cost of raising children today. You've got immigration patterns, which directly add to the workforce. Then there are changing social norms about family size and structure. And of course, the widespread access to and use of contraception. Every single one of these is a powerful force shaping the nation's future. This data point really grounds the whole discussion. The total fertility rate, that's basically the average number of children a woman has fallen from 2.1 back in 1973, which is what's called replacement level, all the way down to about 1.6 today. This just shows that the drop in birth rates isn't about one single thing. It's a broad, long-term trend driven by a really complex mix of all those factors we just talked about. So when you put it all together, the incredible scale of that 68 million figure, the very real strain on Social Security, and this complex web of other social and economic trends, it all brings us to one critical question. Ultimately, this analysis doesn't give us a simple, easy answer. Instead, what it does is it challenges us to see the connections between demographics, policy, and the economy. So the real question isn't just if these trends will shape our future, it's how are we going to adapt?
In a world with fewer workers supporting more retirees, can things like immigration and economic policy bridge that gap? Or does a system like Social Security need a fundamental reinvention? That is the real challenge these numbers force us to confront.